All right, we are live. Got it all working. Let us know if everything's working in the comments. Thank you guys for tuning in early, a little bit earlier than normal. But hello and welcome to the Charge On pregame live show for UCF versus North Carolina. As always, I'm your host, Sean Crean, live from the Bounce House. We're at the Bounce House again. If you guys was wondering where you all to say hi, I think the students, so listen, if you are in the student line or if you are tailgating, we're going to be here for our full time. So if you make your way over here and you want to come over and say hi, we are right under the Blake Bortles Hall of Fame. What would you call it, Nick?
A banner?
Banner?
Yeah,
there you go. It's early. We're not used to these early games. But definitely come on and say hi. We're going to be walking around a little bit because we want to see you guys down here. We got to make it to a tailgate. Nick got a little, listen, full transparency. Nick had a little fun last night. Nick had a little bit of fun, which, caused us not to maybe necessarily go to a tailgate, but definitely in the weeks ahead.
There's no way that I'm the cause for that.
You
absolutely
are
no shot that I'm the cause for that.
100% the cause.
No.
But we want to hear from you guys. You saw our podcast, most likely. We appreciate you guys as always. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you think of the game today. It's a big one, and that's why it's a different feel today. I don't know what it is. I do know what it is. It's Jordan Hudson is here. But the North Carolina is coming in.
We already walked right by her.
We walked right by Jordan Hudson. Yeah, and I never thought I would say that I was starstruck. I wasn't. But, no, it's a big game today. Massive game. This is really the first big test for UCF. This is the second test for UNC. And I think a lot of us were talking up in the press box just now before we came down here. And I think there is a true sentiment, Nick, that we really do not know how either of these teams are actually in terms of skill-wise. We talked about it on the podcast. We'll talk about it here. We kind of know what North Carolina is right now because they played a real test in week one. They've improved since then, but they didn't really play anybody. UCF has not played a real test in both their games this season, so it leaves this game as a huge question mark as to who actually is good and who are frauds.
Yeah, and like I said earlier this week on the show, I'm willing to give North Carolina a pass in their first game with all of these new players and all of these new coaches and just all of the drama, I guess, that has gone on, off the field with them. I was willing to give them, maybe a pass for that they play their first game against what I consider a quality opponent in TCU. It wasn't pretty. But I think the thing that was telling then was the following week against Charlotte, it didn't look pretty in a win. And, 41-6 against Richmond, obviously they kind of, sleptwalked through that game. But even then you could kind of nitpick and say that wasn't as impressive for what you would think a 41-6 victory would be. So that's why I think we have an idea of who North Carolina is, but you have to think that they're going to get better as they continue to play, the same way UCF is going to get better the more games they play. And they're not going to be the same team today, I don't think, that they were against Jacksonville State for much of it, for example. And then obviously they took care of business 2 weeks ago against North Carolina A&T, did what you needed to do there, but I take that with a grain of salt in the grand scheme of things. This is UCF's first real test in the sense that this is the first time you're going to be playing a Power 5 opponent. And finally, we've just gotten here. Like, we should have been playing North Carolina in, 2019?
2018 and 2020.
2018 and 2020. I'm kind of happy that it was saved for this year because there's a lot more buzz this time around because of Bill Belichick in the building. Somewhere around us right now is Bill Belichick. I don't know where, but I see a lot of UNC polos have been walking around, so maybe we'll bump into him somewhere, but I don't know.
No, we said, listen, there is a chance that the post-game show it happens, but it might be a little bit later than normal because I think me and Nick are just wanting to be in the graces of greatness, and we want to go to the press conference for Bill and hopefully in a UCF win ask a question and be like, what are you doing letting a former player beat you in college? Ray says, Rice put 28 on chart last night. So I tweeted that out, and I want to get to that because I think everybody's looking at the line, Bug. Everybody's looking at the line of 7.5 points for UCF, which I think both me and Nick agree that's too high, way too many points. I think UCF should be around it.
I took the points and then some, though.
You took the points?
My pick that I had.
No, what'd you have?
I had UCF at 31-20.
Oh, yeah, you did.
So
you did. Yeah,
Was it? It was fine for me.
Yeah, that's right. I had UCF 28-24. I think it's a three-point game, and I think it's a touchdown game here or there. Like, a team's gonna have to go down and score a touchdown to win. North Carolina, and I said, if you guys go, like, you have a couple hours. It's 1:30, a couple hours until game time, unless you're going to the game. Just turn on the North Carolina offensive film. It could get better. We don't. Today could be the day that Gio Lopez plays really good. The offense is one of the worst offenses I've seen this year. Now, granted, again, improvement. Week to week, you can get improvement. But if you watch them against Charlotte, the offense was abysmal. If you watch them last week playing Richmond, the offense didn't do them any favors. It was the defense that saved them. And Richmond moved the ball on that defense all night. It's just the defense got turnovers. So, to that point, Rice putting up 28 on Charlotte and UNC put up 20. It's not a perfect science. You can't just look at the box score because who knows, there could have been defensive touchdowns or what have you, Nick. But with that being said, it's been a slow start for this UNC offense with Gio Lopez and company.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of people talking about Gio because I've been obviously locked in North Carolina this week a lot. And even a lot of people in the fan base, like whenever there's comments about UNC potentially, what up, UNC potentially doing something, and showing some improvement on offense, a lot of the comments are, well, it's not going to happen with Gio, put Max Johnson in and stuff like that. And I mean, I think everybody goes back to the end of the TCU game when Max Johnson got a chance after Gio Lopez didn't complete a pass for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And Max Johnson looked like, pretty solid. He looked like a veteran quarterback that just played a lot of football, right? So I don't know. I mean, I would, if I was North Carolina, I think Max Johnson's better than Gio Lopez. I don't know if you agree with that.
He was not listed as better going into the season. Gio Lopez
he's
was the
also
top
coming out. He was coming off a brutal knee injury too.
Yes, and Max Johnson was good last year. Like there was high expectations for Max Johnson, but Gio Lopez was one of the top quarterback transfers in the market.
But so far, those 3 games, there really is not much that Gio Lopez does that scares you necessarily, and I think that's why I have UCF with the edge that they do, is because I think the turnover battle. You could say this about any game. But I think the turnover battle is going to be really, really important tonight, today. And I'm projecting that UCF can get 1 or 2 defensively against Gio Lopez in North Carolina, because I think the UCF defense, John, and you would agree, so far is the strength of the football team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The defense has not been really tested too much, and that's what we're going to see. I think we looked it up. UCF is number 3 in the country right now, or number 4 in the country in passing defense. They haven't really played a quarterback that can pass the ball. And to be fair, again, I feel bad. All week I've really just poo-pooed on UNC, and I poo-pooed on Gio Lopez. But he's been bad. Like, Gio Lopez has been bad. And it looks like, I said it on the podcast, and I'll say it here, it looks like he's like a second or 2 off on every throw.
Yeah.
And I think for UCF, that could come in handy. I think UCF's going to be able to pick some balls off tonight, because I think Gio Lopez, it is not quick enough. And I think if you take away his running game, which I think with his defensive line, I think we all said that's the strength. We want to see more out of the defensive line. I do think they're going to be able to cause some havoc tonight. But again, this is the first real power forward test that we're going to see. In the past couple of years, we're hesitant to say the defense is good, and then they prove us right, and they're not as good. I think tonight is going to be this afternoon is going to be the time where we can finally say if this defense is legit.
If North Carolina is smart, though, and obviously there's a lot of smart football minds on that sideline, I mean, like I said earlier in the week, build off of what you did well last week. And that was they established an identity on offense with their run game, and in particularly the true freshman Damon June, who we talked about a lot. I think it was a true freshman record for North Carolina and for rushing yards for him this past week. Again, opponent being what it was, but he looked really, really good. Yeah. And I have a feeling today, he's going to get the bulk of the workload. He's probably going to be the first running back out if I had to guess. I don't know. We'll see. Bill, sometimes Bill in the NFL wasn't so easy to just give somebody his spot. So
I'm a Bill savant.
Yeah, I know. You know how it goes. So
I am a Bill expert.
Yeah, maybe he won't overtake running back 1 yet. I don't know. In fact, he was asked about that, I think, this week, Bill, around it, and he kind of,
he
skated around it, and he's never going to, no coach is really going to tell you. But, yeah, for the UCF fans out there, you still got time. Looking a little bit to Damon June. He's the impact player for this offense, and I think that's what you're probably going to see North Carolina try to exploit.
Now, here's what I'll say about Damon June, the running game. Like, obviously, they found something last week. I think, again, this is going to be a huge test for UCF. I've been very critical of the UCF defensive line and the UCF defense about how I still think that the running game on defense needs to be improved. Stopping the run, I don't think have done as good a job as they could have. The passing defense has been exceptional, but the running defense got a little leaky, especially that first game against Jack State. So this is going to be a good test. They're going to try and run the football today. I think you're going to see it's going to be a lot of RPOs, but it's going to be a lot of quarterback keepers to try and get Gio Lopez in space. It's going to be a lot of Demon June going downhill north to south. That's going to be UNC game plan today. Listen, they're going to try to throw the football, but one thing Bill will look at is UCF defense the last couple weeks, and they're going to be like, okay, this is a good passing defense. We're going to need to win this game by running the football, controlling the clock, keeping the ball in our offense's hands. If they're going 3 and out, listen, we don't know if this UCF offense is good at all. Like, we don't. Like, tonight's going to be the first test. Not as good of a defense as they're going to see this year, but it's a better defense they've seen in the last 2 weeks. So you're going to get a real test on offense tonight, but I think Scott Frost in this offense can probably figure some stuff out quickly. But what does Steve Belichick and Bill Belichick do? They take away kind of what you do well.
That's true, but it kind of how I said coming into the week, I think the best offensive player, or at least the most established offensive player on either side in this game is Miles Montgomery.
Yep.
I think if you've watched the first 2 games, UCF clearly wants to be a sort of run. They want to lead by the run first to set up the pass and some of the play action and stuff that we've seen be successful for this football team so far. So I think you're going to see, again, them trying to work that. And then, the usage of Jaden Nixon. I mean, how do you handle that one? Because he had 5 touches for 260-something yards 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
One of the greatest single-game performances we've seen in UCF football history, especially in recent history.
Yep.
But only like 2 or 3 of those were actually on offense.
Yep.
And obviously they took the starters out rather quickly. So how do you find ways to get Jaden Nixon involved? Because, I don't care if it's running the football. I don't care if it's him catching the ball out of the backfield or running some route. I don't care. That's a guy that I want to try to get the ball into his hands just a little bit more as a guy that, could really surprise a defense, especially if, they're tired and everything. If you're able to have one of those really long drives and then you bring out this guy who's super fresh and super fast, it'd be a real weapon today for UCF.
I'll say this, and I'm not trying to be negative Nancy here because I love Jaden Nixon and I want him to do well today. And listen, this is not the Patriots defenses in, the NFL, right? This is the Tar Heels defense in the year 2025.
Certainly not the same players.
No. But what I will say is Bill Belichick, as a, again, lifelong Patriots fan, I know his defense is like the back of my hand. And everybody knows, what does Bill Belichick do? He takes away the team's best thing that they do. And I think he's going to look and say, UCF's going to want to run the football. He's going to look at the tape 2 weeks ago and see that Jaden Nixon just torched North Carolina A&T. And I think Bill Belichick is going to circle that whenever that guy is on the field, most likely he's going to get the ball. So I don't want to say I think it might be a quiet day for Jaden Nixon because I think it can't be a quiet day if UCF wants to win this football game. But I do think that Bill and the staff are going to circle Miles Montgomery and Jaden Nixon and take away, like, you look at Colorado last year, and obviously R.J. Harvey and Miles Montgomery, they're not the same, right? Yeah. But I do think it's going to be a similar game plan where North Carolina is going to say, we're going to let Taven Jackson force UCF to make Taven Jackson beat UNC.
Yeah, and if they have to do that, this will be interesting. And it's almost a case study, kind of, because I think we've established through 2 weeks that the top 2 receivers on this football team are Dwayne Thomas Jr. and DJ Black. You could flip them 1, 2, 2, whatever. Both of those guys, DJ Black played at Lime Rock. Dwayne Thomas, goodness gracious.
It's Division II, you can't blame
Lime Rock.
Can't blame him.
Limestone. Sorry.
I might be wrong too.
It's Limestone. I was wrong. I was wrong.
It's Lime something.
He's going to blame it on the fact that I had fun last night.
He had fun.
Lost my train of thought. Anyway, I got it. DJ Black, Limestone. Dwayne Thomas Jr., Charlotte. Both haven't really done it against top competition. Not that North Carolina is a top Power 5 competition or Power 4 competition, but they are Power 4 nonetheless. So how do those guys, they looked good in the first 2 weeks against the competition they faced. How do they look now going up against this type of competition? Are they the same impact players that we saw through the first 2 weeks? And is the UCF passing offense still able to spread it around? Because, you looked at the way they were able to sort of divvy up the targets the past couple weeks. no one was having 10 catches or 8 catches leading the way. It was
Yeah.
4, 4, 4, 3, 3. Very balanced.
Which I think you're going to need.
Which I think you're going to need, absolutely, because there's not truly an alpha one. Even though Thomas and Black are the best, they're not, I would call, true alpha ones.
No, but that also, again, that will make it more difficult for UNC because they can't just pinpoint a guy and take that guy away.
Right.
I think against a Gus Malzahn team where you just had Kobe Hudson last year, I think it makes it more easier, right? Because you want to stop R.J. Harvey, and then you probably double Kobe Hudson and take him away. I think in the Scott Frost offense, there's a lot of unknowns. And I think if you're Bill, he said, they watched a lot of Wisconsin tape on defense for Alan Grinch. They watched a lot of Scott Frost's time at UCF back in 2017. So, I think teams playing UCF still don't really know what you're going to get. Let's answer a couple of the questions. And again, guys, put questions in. We're going to be here for the next 20 minutes even. So put your questions down in there. We would love to answer them. UCF Fez, how's the weather for the first time in basically a month? I can say it's not raining. I can say it looks good outside.
Well, it rained on my drive over here. It was sunny. It was sunny and it was raining on the way here. But
so
we're good now.
No bad juju, no bad thoughts. There is supposed to be an isolated shower, according to the Orlando weather people, right at game time. I'll take an isolated shower over lightning or a thunderstorm. It's 3:30 game time. It should not be prolonged.
I say that, and I just had a sprinkle that just popped on my hand here.
Well, I see a little cloud right here, and I hate to be that guy.
It's not good, but nothing like a monsoon or anything. If we get any rain, it looks like it's just going to be a little shower and move on.
Yeah.
So we're fine today.
Michael L., have they hinted who is quarterback one for today? Heard Cam was cleared for practice this week. So let's talk about that. So, okay, it's kind of the broken record player where we talk about, okay, Cam's cleared, but do you lose your job if you get hurt? Taven should be starting today. I have not heard anything that tells me otherwise. Nobody I've known has heard otherwise. UCF, to their credit, keeps it very hush-hush. Last year, you'd kind of find out 4 hours before. There'd be some leaks from some people that we kind of would know. I think there's almost, Nick, I think it's quiet because it's almost just the expectation. The expectation is you go with the guy that's won you a game last week, that brought you in, won you Jack State at the end. I think you go with the guy that's hot, and you don't necessarily try and mess that up, especially against your first real opponent of the season.
I would be pretty surprised and or outraged if Cam Fancher is the first quarterback that walks onto the field.
If Cam Fancher is the first quarterback walking out on the postgame show, you will see a Sean Green and a Nick Geddes losing their minds.
Well, that depends.
If they win.
If he plays well and they win.
But if they lose.
Then I walk that back quickly. But no, it's nothing against Cam. I think we joke and we have fun. Like I said this week, I wanted to be healthy and everything, obviously. And I feel bad for the guy because, he did win this quarterback, competition in the offseason that was between, at times, 4 quarterbacks. So you got to give him credit for that. But, man, I mean, you've been asking all this time, can you lose your job due to injury? The answer, unfortunately, is yes. You can.
In college football, yes.
And when Cam Fancher was out there for that first half against Jacksonville State, and I know it was just a half sample size, he just didn't look good. I'm not saying the protection was great in front of him either, but there were plays to be made. He didn't make them. Taven Jackson came in, and he made those plays, and they don't win that football game without what Taven Jackson did. And we could be talking about a completely different team if UCF is 1-1 right now, right? So, yeah, Taven obviously was, he played well enough in North Carolina team. They took him out early when they had the big lead. I mean, to me, he's the guy. He just seems like he's the more natural talent at the position. He's the guy I think they wanted to be quarterback one all along. We talked about, and so the coaching staff has talked about too, him getting named the backup seems to have, ignited something under him, and now he's like, okay, I get it now. There's a level that I have to get to in practice that I just haven't gotten to, and it seems like he's found that now. And so I want to ride that continuity. I want to ride that wave. I want him to continue to get reps in this offense, and let's see where it takes us. I don't want to do quarterback shuffling every week.
I think that's where that's kind of the story that we talked about, but it's for real. Taven Jackson, I don't think, had the same fire in spring and fall camp that he needed to have. We said, I think he was the most talented quarterback on the roster. Yes, does he have his flaws? Yes, you kind of see some of those flaws in the last couple weeks. Sometimes his throws are almost perfect, but that couple yards here or there kind of throws it off sometimes.
A little more touch.
A little bit more touch, not Jakari touch, but just a little bit more touch.
Just brought up Jakari.
No, I'm getting there. We got some time.
I know. I'm just I didn't even think of Jakari, but you reminded me.
Yeah. So, I think Taven finally has that I'm quarterback one mentality, and I think that's the thing. At the end of the day, you have to go prove it. Like, this is the first game where you're going to be on national TV. He was on national TV last year against Washington on a team that couldn't lose. You couldn't lose if you're the starting quarterback of Indiana last year. He was a manager. He was a quarterback manager. He didn't do anything crazy, but I think today's your first opportunity to kind of go out there and prove that you are a quarterback one, you are the guy, and you can be the guy. To Nick's point, Jakari Brown. I've heard a lot of people say, is he going to have packages? I think you can basically almost count on it. If there was a bet on FanDuel to write down or to bet on Jakari Brown seeing a snap at quarterback today, he's going to. UCF, in my opinion, has been saving Jakari Brown for a game like this, for a first real test. The issue was you kind of threw him in there last week and kind of showed, if people forgot, kind of showed what he can do. So I think that Jakari Brown element, Nick, if this offense is kind of sputtering a little bit, not saying that he's going to come in and take over, I think regardless, you're going to see some Jakari Brown packages that kind of catch UNC off guard.
Yeah, again, obvious statement, but I'm an advocate for having your best players on the field. I'm an advocate for having as much speed on the field as often as you can. I think athleticism, I think speed wins, scheming those guys, that all to me plays. And, we can pick apart Jakari as a quarterback all we want and some of his issues when he has to actually, stand back there and be a quarterback. But, man, when that guy gets out in space, I mean, watch out.
Yeah.
Every play, he has the ability to take it all the way to the house. So why would you keep that guy on the bench all game? It's not something you want to overexpose, obviously, and that was kind of like, it goes back to the Jaden Nixon conversation a little bit. A player like that, you don't want to overexpose probably, and okay, you're going to touch the field 15, 20 times. If you keep it under 10 and you pick your right spots, it could be a really effective weapon. And with Jakari, we've seen it down near the goal line, inside the 10. I mean, he's really good.
Yeah.
Being a runner and being smart and being able to use his athleticism to get into the end zone. We saw that a lot last year late in the season. So, again, there's some things there that you can build on as an offense and try to get creative with it.
Yeah, and honestly, I know this is going to sound crazy because I'm the biggest Jakari don't throw the football hater, probably in the world. But I will say this. I think it would be awesome if you catch UNC off guard today and Jakari fakes a run and throws the ball down the field. And I would not be surprised. Bill is going to try and take that away. They know Jakari can run if Jakari comes in the game, and I think that would be awesome. Just had a couple paragraphs come in. Let's read a couple of these that come in. Not Green, how would it make you feel if Cam walked out on the field and was quarterback one? I guarantee you there would be a sigh in the press box. And you're not supposed to make any noises in the press box. I guarantee you there would be a big, or a, Not that it's bad, we don't know.
It would just be interesting.
It'd just be whoa, you're doing it. Fry, any words on the starting quarterback? We kind of just talked about it, Fry. We think it's going to be Taven. I don't think there's any reason for it not to be Taven. We're not hearing any word behind the scenes. But also, UCF could be keeping things close to the vest. We don't know.
No.
Michael, they said a few minutes ago that all signs point to target or Taven starting. They'd be surprised if Cam marched out with the starters. Mark, Taven playing just over 2 halves is still on pace for nearly 3,000 yards a game, 7th in conference and 2nd in yards per pass attempt. But will line give him time protection? Consistency will be the test by UNC.
I'm glad the comment was brought up about the offensive line.
Good job, Mark.
Because that's where I was going next. And listen, it's not sexy, it's not fun to talk about offensive line all the time. I'd rather them just do their job and leave it be, right, and be comfortable with it. But we have to be honest with ourselves. The offensive line through the first 2 weeks.
Be careful. Be careful.
What?
I'm saying be careful. I think the O-line, it's 50% good, 50% in. The pass blocking, Taven Jackson, whoever's back there, has had ample time to throw the football. The run blocking has been bad.
Well, my issue...
you need to get better on the run blocking, but the pass blocking's been good.
Yeah. The problem, though, is, it's week 3, and, I don't know who's going to be playing. I don't know who's going to be playing left guard and right guard today. Like, I don't know.
I do.
Maybe you know.
Well, it'll be the starting guys.
The same ones that started the last 2 weeks?
Yeah.
But then continued to go back and forth and back and forth?
Listen, I do think they keep the line the same today. I do. I think the run blocking has been really bad. It has. Like, at the end of the day, like, Miles Montgomery is fighting,
He's fighting
for
everything.
I
said it. It's like it's so similar to what RJ had to do last year, with a completely different crop of characters on the offensive line. It's like the same thing this year, but from what I've seen so far, I trusted that O-line a little bit more than I do this one.
But I think pass blocking wise, I trust this offensive line way more. And again, we've mentioned on every show we've been on. I've been on a couple shows this week that we're not charged on. You know, everybody's praying for Sean Clark.
Absolutely.
I think they got good updates this week, so that's a good sign. I think that's going to really help the players kind of just focus and keep their mind on this game. But that is not to like make it about the game. Listen, you want to fight and go out there and fight for your offensive line coach, and you want to have your best game of the season for him. Like, so I think there is kind of that sentiment of, yeah, you've struggled in the run block game a little bit. You've been good in pass block. I think they want to put their best all-around performance together today, not just for themselves, but to kind of for their coach that's going through a hard mental time.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said the other
time.
That's kind of what I said earlier this week. Is I think you're going to get a sort of renewed effort out of them today, knowing I think they're probably all going to go out there and say, we're doing this for Coach Clark today. I think the whole team is probably going to have that mindset, and so I hope they're able to sort of bottle that and show it on the field for 60 minutes today.
And I'll say this, credit to UNC too. Obviously, Justin Wilson, an SID here, is also an SID there. I'm sure they kind of got word of Coach Clark there, and Bill Belichick gave his thoughts and prayers, stuff like that. So it's been really good this week. Not really a lot of trash talk between UCF and UNC. I think there's I think there's a very similar.
Well, I don't know. I didn't get to verify it, but I saw it on Twitter the other day that there was a certain billboard on University Boulevard.
Oh, I didn't see this.
2 days ago.
I didn't see it.
It was a ZUP.
Oh, ZUP UCF. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about now?
Yeah. I know the billboard.
Yeah. I didn't verify if it was a real thing, but
no, I think it was real.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I think I'll say this. I'm excited to see what UCF does on the field today because I think they are going to be ready for this game. We had a question from one of our normal listeners, Default, because it's still really early, but how is crowd looking tailgate-wise? So I'll say this. I haven't really seen the tailgate spot. I'm assuming it's doing pretty nice. I've known a lot of people that were going to come to this game tailgate. I'm looking at the student line, though. And I can't see very far back, but I see a lot of black shirts right there. And just to be honest, the last 2 weeks, the student section has been filled. Like, it's been good. I haven't seen that many people this early for a game just waiting outside to get in. This game, I'm more so pumped because I just like when the bounce house feels like the bounce house and it's completely packed to the brim. Last week, they did an insane job. I was insanely impressed with how many people showed up. You were, too. We saw how many people were here and we're like, that's impressive for North Carolina A&T after an hour-long delay and rain. I think today's going to be absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I don't know if I'm, like, crazy or nuts or if it just has to do with performance or whatnot, but I haven't felt like the energy in the stadium has felt the same. I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if that's just a me thing or if anybody else feels the same way, but I haven't felt that energy, and I don't know what exactly I'm looking for. But last week against North Carolina A&T, there were some certain points early in that game where I was like, I felt it.
Yeah.
And that's impressive for, facing that opponent. So, again, I think that's going to be something today. I think it is going to probably feel a little bit like how I'm imagining it should feel today.
And I'll tell you this. Obviously, I've been to a lot of these games. I've been a lifelong UCF fan. I know how this goes. I think if UCF wins this game, and I know that's saying a lot, I think if UCF wins this game, I think the mindset of the fans is going to quickly shift. And we kind of talked about it. This is a game you could win. You should win. Like, let's be real. You're at home. You're a very comparable team. You should win this football game. And if you do, I think the mindset changes. And I do think the national perception, though, won't change completely. Like, UCF still is not as good as the top-tier Big 12. I do think the Scott Frost aspect, starting your season 3-0, beating Bill Belichick, I do think the national talking heads will find that very interesting. about a coach that was dead in the water, comes back home and starts season 3-0 beating his old coach. I do think that will kind of get people to start talking about UCF. Not saying it's going to be all the time, but I do think the perception is going to be changed if you win this game a little bit.
In terms of the attention and everything, at least in the state of Florida, you're battling for quite a bit of attention right now at the moment. It's just the way it is. Like, first 2 weeks, there were so many graphics on ESPN, and it was like the state of Florida's back.
And UCF was not on
and
there.
They had 4 logos, and UCF was not one of them.
It's fine.
So,
USF is forgotten now. Nobody cares about USF anymore.
So, I mean, yeah, UCF in their own state, it's, it obviously different spots, but you can't worry about any of that, And that's kind of also what I was going to say today. I think me and you are both sort of hopeful that UCF is going to win today. If this goes a different, we're speculating now.
Yeah.
If this goes sideways and UNC wins this football game and UCF doesn't really look great doing it, and then we sort of come to the realization of, okay, well, these guys don't look like they're a really good football team. It's okay.
Yeah.
It still is okay. I mean, we're still going to, critique where it needs to be critiqued
100%.
and everything. We're not just going to turn a blind eye to everything. But it is okay to understand where UCF is sort of as a program right now, where we expected them to be as a program. So that's just sort of what happens if they lose this game. But again,
100%.
I think we're confident that they can handle it today.
We said, and I think we said this on the show, I'll say it here. If this was TCU coming in, me and Nick are not picking UCF. We're probably picking UCF to lose by multiple touchdowns. I think you're getting a comparable Power 4 opponent. Next week in your first real road test, you get a comparable Power 4 opponent in Kansas State who is struggling. I think you couldn't have mapped out the season in terms of scheduling better for a team that has 69 new players, brand new coaching staff. I think it is mapped out well. Now, with that being said, these are not lock-in W's for UCF. But just the fact that UCF has an opportunity to go 4-0 is absolutely insane to me. And if we were talking before the season of could UCF go 4-0 to start the season, we would probably laugh. So it starts today. Let's get to some of your questions, but it does start today. And the students are now coming in. And there's a love bug. Oh, it's a little love bug on my hand.
Yeah, it's good luck.
I was about to kill that thing.
I hate love bugs. I'm just going to be honest.
I do too, and I don't want to kill a love bug on live.
Absolutely horrible creatures.
Not green, because there's no way Scott chooses Cam after that week 1 performance, plus can only practice 1 day out of the week while Taven had the whole week too, so I would assume Taven is quarterback 1. We're assuming, I think they practiced multiple days this week, practiced multiple days last week. I'm assuming Taven's getting quarterback 1 reps, but we will see.
I heard that Terry Mahadra gave him a hug at night walk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll see. Don't put any more pressure. But Not Green says 27-14 UCF wins at Taven as quarterback. I like to hear that. UCF Mayor, let Tay open it up today. Bring Brown in for change every once in a while. Yep, I think you got to let it up. Like you got to show. I think let's see some 2017 offense today. Like
we don't even know. In fact, I probably could say we do know actually. I don't think they've opened. I don't think Scott Frost has showed really much of his hands yet. No shot in these first 2 weeks.
I think he showed that first play against Jack State. I think
against Jack State, because that game was so much closer than they wanted it to be. They out of necessity, they had to open it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Last week, obviously, you can get away playing the most vanilla game possible.
Yeah.
So today, we might see some new wrinkles that we just haven't seen yet.
I'm excited to see the defensive changes too, because I guess the defense has been very vanilla too.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a Grinch, crazy pop quiz test where it's so confusing that players don't know what they're doing. But I hope it throws a couple wrinkles in there, maybe get to the quarterback more. Carlo asked a question a little bit ago: why is Nixon not running back 1 yet? Number one, Miles Montgomery is the lead back. Miles Montgomery can do both. He's quick and elusive, but he's also kind of more bulky and can kind of go downhill. UCF is a running back by committee team. I think you're going to see a lot of Miles is going to be in probably 60%. Jaden's going to be in 40%. There's no really RB1. Miles is the RB1, but it's not the same as a typical RJ Harvey type. Stetson goes central. Yeah, I hope. That was just funny. I like Bill calling him central, but he quickly got smart. Let's see. Mark Montgomery has some great runs, but he had to get them on his own, force defense to respect the run. Without it, UNC will blitz more. That's the thing. That's what we're saying. Like, UCF's run blocking is going to have to be really good today. Like, you need to run the ball on UNC to open up the pass game. If they know that Taven Jackson is going to drop back, Steve Belichick is going to bring pressure. So you need to open up the run game to then open up the pass game. Not Green sends in a lot. They are not a quality team. They have maybe 2 to 3 good players. Give them credit. They have good linebackers, but our defense will outperform the UNC offense. UNC lost to TCU, who is barely up on SMU, proving my point. UNC is not quality. Well, SMU's a good football team. I mean, they were ranked. They lost a tough game a week or 2 ago. TCU's a good football team. Again, UCF, if they play TCU, they would lose by multiple touchdowns. Like, I don't think any of us are kidding ourselves. Now, if we played TCU in week 10, again, that gives UCF time to really develop, kind of find themselves. I think that's where you kind of, if UCF played TCU week 1, they'd get blown out. They'd get blown out. So you can't really look at UNC. Though I agree that UNC is not a good football team, I agree with you. You don't know how good UCF is either. So that's why I say it's a very comparable matchup here, where both these teams are very comparable in terms of talent right now.
It's what we think.
Yeah.
It's a lot of what we think and what we don't know at the moment, because you even mentioned, like, we think that if UCF, the roles reverse, if they played TCU in week 1, they would lose by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's what we think, but we still just don't. Today's going to be the telltale. We're going to have a good, I think that's the overall theme today, is we're going to have a gauge, right, wrong, or indifferent, how good of a team UCF is. We're gonna find that out today.
Mark, Montgomery has 20 pounds on Nixon. Nixon is yet to get a yard in the middle, big runs, off tackle or wide. And I saw a comment earlier about the UNC linebackers have like 20 pounds on the running backs. Number one, the UNC linebackers, they played a little bit faster. I think I think we are quicker than the UNC defense. So I think you have that. If you can run away from the linebackers, it could be okay. With that being said, though, I think, again, Jaden Nixon is not a north to south running back. I don't think you can just say, okay, go through the tackles. I think you need to put Jaden Nixon, get him on the outside, get some runs to the outside. Miles Montgomery is the type where you can run him downfield, but he can cut it out.
Yeah, Miles Montgomery will wear down a defense, and he has the ability, obviously, to break open the play, too, from times. Jaden Nixon is the ultimate home run threat.
Yeah.
I said it before. He's like Johnny Richardson, but, like, obviously a little bigger.
Yeah.
More talented, I think.
Yeah.
Fair to say?
Fair.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a good, it's a good 1-2 punch. 2 different profiles.
Alrighty, guys. We're going to go for about 2 more minutes. Thoughts on Oklahoma State losing to Tulsa at home? UCF right now has 3 wins.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
I was at a wedding, so I missed that game. Not that I was going to watch it anyway.
I watched the ending. It was bad.
Not that I was going to watch it anyway, but I caught up this morning, and I'm like, surely Oklahoma State did not lose to Tulsa. And then I saw the score. I'm like, surely they did not get their butt whipped that good by Tulsa. But it happened.
Tulsa was up 16-3 at one point.
Yeah, listen, there's an expiration. I know we're not an Oklahoma State podcast, but he asked the question, and it's a Big 12 opponent that we play later this year. I got a lot of respect for Mike Gundy and the way he has run his program over the last 20 years. Having 18 consecutive winning seasons, Sean, I don't care where you are, it's not easy to do.
No.
But I think college football, this new era, he has not responded well to it. And if that's just how you feel, you probably should just go. I think Oklahoma State will probably make that decision pretty soon, I have to think.
No, 100%. And I think, I don't think Mike Gundy will be the coach when they come here. If you respect Mike Gundy, then you can let him finish out the season. But I think that's yet to be seen. Final couple things, Carl. How many picks can the UCF defense force on Lopez? He looks really shaky. I think a couple.
I think they get 2 today.
I think a couple.
I think they get 2, and I think they win that turnover battle. And I think that's
you win the turnover battle, you win the game.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Final predictions. We don't usually do this. I'm sticking. I think UCF wins this football game.
I'm not moving off. 31-20.
I'm not moving off. I do think UCF wins this football game. The crowd is piling in. This is probably one of the longest pregame shows we've ever done, so we appreciate you guys. Those of you who have stayed for the entire 40-something minutes, thank you. We will be doing our post-game live show right after the game on the field per usual, so make sure you come in for that. This is going to be a fun one. For Nick Geddes, I'm Sean Green. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Go Knights, charge on, and we will see you guys after the game.